Welcome back, and once again, you are watching Akua Hinds Online. This episode is called Big Goals and Big Dreams Cause and Effect. I'm here with Michelle Bacani-Lim, aka Mickey Grace from Mickey Grace and Associates. Be sure to check out Michelle's new website. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Her main man designed it with her. And also, you can follow her on Twitter. She also has a Facebook page for Mickey Grace and Associates. Be sure to check her out there, subscribe to her videos. I'm blessed to be able to talk with her today about some big goals and big dreams, causes and effects. We were just talking about vision boards and how they can be really helpful for helping anybody. And you don't have to be a certain age to be a vision to do a vision board. I mean,
absolutely not.
A 5-year-old can do it. Right?
My kids did theirs when they were 3 and 5, and I was just impressed at how fast, like that, they got everything on their boards. We had to redo them again within a couple of months. It was just pretty amazing how
so neat.
Children are fantastic at visualizing and at creating the life of their dreams. It's pretty amazing. They pretty much receive everything they want, and whether it's through their own doing or through amazing grandparents or through us, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's pretty amazing what they've accomplished.
I want to say too that you don't have to be you can, like I said, you can do it at any age. If you're 85, you can do a vision board.
Absolutely.
It's not over for you as long as there's breath in your body. You have goals, you have dreams. Listen to them, and recognize them.
Certainly. And if I can add to that, I mean, if you have breath in your body, it is your duty. It is, not only are you worthy of it, but you must. I mean, there is something that is to be shared within you out there in the world, and everybody has a purpose. You wouldn't be alive otherwise. So one of the first things I do in the mornings is I set my stand for the day, meaning I really, sink in and I really decide what my day is about. Talking about big dreams and big goals. When you can do that, it just shifts your day for the day. So I really encourage people to do that.
And I absolutely agree with you on that. Now, you can do that. You can set your mind towards being positive, but sometimes some nasty words from people who, they could be people who are close to you, a stranger maybe, a competitor in business, a rival at school. They can really have a negative effect. And Michelle and I tend to refer to those people as being naysayers. Let's talk about that, Michelle. The naysayers can really pull our dreams apart. I've had that happen to me where I remember being at school and having some people say, "Oh, you're never going to do this. You're never going to do that."
Yes.
Those people didn't even know me.
I'd love to share.
I'm not talking about college. Like college, people were great, but in elementary, middle school, high school, and that environment, I find is. I know it in my experience. It was not very helpful in me being able to realize my dreams. It was outside of school where I was able to focus on the things that I loved. And don't get me wrong, I'm a strong believer in education. I just also believe that education can be achieved in different ways. But
absolutely,
your dream could be, and your goals could be to go to college, finish college, start homeschooling, or start your own career, start a family, travel more. But if there's someone in your life who's trying to tell you that you shouldn't be focusing on that, even if it's something that's within you, how do we deal with that, Michelle? How should we?
Well, first, let's look at what naysayers are. I think in my experience, I've actually experienced it in college myself. So you were saying that you didn't have it happen to you in college, and
no, college is wonderful.
I've had it happen to me kind of throughout my life, and we've spoken about bullies in the 20 questions that we did recently.
Yes.
And really, naysayers, they are bullies, and really what we need to do as human beings, I think, is to understand that it's not about us, it's actually about them. It's actually them reflecting on their own, imposing upon us their own insecurities, their own issues with self-worth, their own issues of not achieving their goals, because first of all, it's really none of their business.
That's right.
Whether what we believe in and what we want to create in our life, number one. But number two, what does it say about them? If they're constantly harboring on others, trying to poo-poo their dreams and bring people down, what's really sad is in the Filipino culture, they actually, and I don't know if in other cultures, I'm sure they call it this as well, but it's like the crab mentality, which is basically, just imagine a crab's in a bucket. And when you take one crab out, the other crabs, or when you're trying to, when
they're
they're trying to
trying to
climb out,
claw and-
they're going to claw you back down. They don't want you to get out. They don't want you to be free, right?
It's powerful. It's powerful.
It's
image.
very powerful. And, in our culture, in the Filipino culture, they say that quite often. And it's very sad to think that a culture is known for that. I mean, I know that there are other cultures that say that as well, as I said. But with a naysayer, again, it's hard, but I try, I'm not always successful in doing so, try to look through eyes of compassion, and try to look at them and see that, number one, it's not right what they're doing. Number two, that it's really about them. It's really about them not achieving their goals. It's really about them not living up to their dreams.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the first thing that I would say about naysayers.
Okay. Well, it's interesting that you said that it's none of their business about your goals and your dreams. I think that's so true. But we were in the previous segment, we were talking about putting your dreams out there on a vision board, declaring it to the universe, seeing it come true. And sometimes, we want to share what's in our hearts with other people.
Right.
And we feel like that's going to help us to realize the dream more.
Certainly.
And I'm not discouraging that. I think telling people who are trusted, people who are true blue, sometimes
that's what
you
I would say.
think that somebody who you expect to be in your corner won't be hurt. And it can really deflate, if you think about it like that balloon, it can really deflate the bubble or the ego.
Absolutely. If you don't mind, I'd like to share a personal story that happened recently. I was actually at a speaking engagement, and I'm going to speak pretty publicly about it right now, but no one needs to know exactly which one it was. But it was a networking group, and I did my talk, and it was amazing. And I had a friend who attended, and he completely agreed. He was just like, you went straight up to 30,000 feet. You didn't prepare anybody. It was just an incredible talk, and I knew that. I knew it was amazing. People had approached me and sort of congratulated me after. And again, I'm not trying to say it to boost my ego, but what was really shocking for me was immediately after my talk, this person that was sort of chairing the talk basically said, well, you weren't supposed to do that, Michelle. You were supposed to do this during your talk.
Oh, was it a pre-planned
It was
talk,
a pre-planned, it was a pre-planned talk, but, and I just, it completely deflated the entire situation. It deflated the energy that was present. And and I kind of looked at them and I said, well, I understand that, but I just feel that this is actually a better clarification of who I am and how I work and how I stand and what it is that I can do to help people. And so it was pretty hilarious, and I completely, was a little shocked by this person who I would say is a naysayer, because I think that they did that in that moment simply to deflate me or something like
now,
that.
I have to ask, have you ever seen this individual who you trusted? Have you ever seen them do this to anyone else before? Or have they done this to you before?
No, not at all.
So this is a surprise.
It was a surprise.
Okay.
It was a surprise because this is genuinely a pretty positive person and a very positive organization to begin with. So, I've kind of mulled over it because it did happen very recently, and I've kind of mulled over it and kind of, licked my wounds a little, because it does hurt when that happens in a public setting. And, especially when I know that my intention always is to build great value for people. I really believe, I attended a workshop by Callan Rush recently, and she talks about, she does magnetizing your audience, and she talks about educational marketing. And I'm a firm believer in that. And really what educational marketing is sharing tons and tons of value, and understanding that by sharing tons of value, you are now going to be considered as an expert by those people. And if there's any type of, work that they want to do, if they want to, get services like the ones that you provide, they're going to come to you first.
Absolutely.
They're not going to go anywhere else.
That's
because you are providing great education for them.
Article marketing is a really great way to
really
promote your business. I do a lot of that. I am a journalist. I'm a journalist and an entrepreneur, marketer, and musician, actress as well. So I find that when I write a lot of articles about different topics, I specifically do that. There have been people who I don't think they see themselves as naysayers. Maybe they thought they were helpful, but they told me, you should really only stick to one topic. And I said,
yes.
We've talked about that.
We should talk about that a little bit.
I think that's a little ridiculous, because does a chef at a kitchen only know how to make one meal, or do they know how to make several different?
You know what? I love that topic. I think we should have a whole topic on that, because
I think so too.
One of the things, they always say, jack of all trades, master of none. Well, you know what I believe in? I believe in the Renaissance man, and maybe people don't. A lot of people don't understand that when they first started creating. I mean, look at Michelangelo, look at, the great Leonardo da Vinci. I mean, they were scientists, they were artists, they were lovers, they were creators, they were poets. And, I look at how we're living. I look at how we're living, and I love that. And our friends are very similar too.
Yes, they are.
They're artists and creators and producers and writers and coaches and business owners, and that is who I am. And for the longest time I got that too. I got a lot of naysayers saying, oh, you're so flighty. And you know what, speaking of, when I decided to kind of go full blown with GWT and really partner with that company,
and congratulations.
Thank you. When I decided to really partner with that company moving forward and create another stream of income through luxury products, which I love and wear anyway.
Sorry.
I toyed with that notion of, oh, is someone going to come to me and say, oh, what is she doing now? She's doing jewelry now? Oh, what is it? And you know what I say about that? I really don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care, because you know what? There are 7 billion plus people on this planet.
That's right. And more coming. And we welcome them.
Absolutely. And who are we to say that they don't need a CD, or they don't need an actor, or they don't need a writer, or they don't need a coach, or they don't need
essentials product,
Absolutely.
or music lessons, or whatever, an article to read.
100%.
Just hearing you say that, people think, flight or whatever, that just really gets to me right here, because I think
that's why I have a friend in you.
Thank you.
Totally.
And I have a friend in you too. I can't believe that they wouldn't be cheering you on.
Yeah.
Instead of being negative and being a naysayer. Yeah. I just can't believe. It still stuns me, even though I've dealt with that myself.
Absolutely. And back in, I don't know when. I mean, I don't really study history so much maybe as I should, but gentlemen or gentlewomen that like. They would have the ability to write and play the piano and do all these things. And what happened?
They were considered accomplished.
All of those talents, exactly.
And skills.
And it was very amazing for them to be able to do many things. And, when you look at someone's life, they are not their profession. Maybe they relate to it greatly, but I feel that is what steals from people's dreams. And the creation of schools, I am a homeschooler, so of course I'm going to have this understanding. The creation of schools, initially when they created schoolhouses, was because these children of farmers were actually originally educated within their own home
by the parents,
by their parents and by tutors. But then they needed to be able to bring those parents to work in factories when the Industrial Revolution happened. And they created these schools. In addition to that, they created these universities, which initially were meant for people to flourish and learn, the languages and learn writing and learn about poetry and all of these different areas. And then they started, solidifying it. Okay, you are going to become a lawyer. You are going to become a doctor. You are going to become a teacher.
People, typecasting, just like you and I are both in the acting world as well. And so it's like you can only do this role. And
that's
it's
right.
Like, well, I'm good at this other type of role too, or it's just ridiculous. And the fact that in the 21st century, in the year 2013, we have people who are still encouraging people to think in a way where it's not necessarily healthy or positive. And it's true. I mean, I really love history, and I do a lot of research and stuff like that, and it's true. I mean, people were praised and encouraged. I mean, parents wanted, the kids and because they wanted to make them quotable. They wanted them to be able to know different languages, play an instrument, draw. Very common for girls from wealthy families to be trained in all those things. And a lot of it was done by having tutors come and teach them, or, whichever. And they were given the chance to really flourish and grow.
Yeah. And one thing I want to say about this, that it doesn't necessarily mean that you lack focus. It doesn't mean that you're going to be divided with your time. I think one of the things that we do well, I like to say that we do well, and I'm not trying to pump up my ego or anything like that, but is branding.
Yes.
It's branding. And
yes.
And when you come and talk to me, one of the things that you'll always hear me say, I'm great at sales and marketing. I'm a great speaker. I'm a great coach. These are the different areas that I'm able to assist clients with. In terms of consulting, for example, I help with marketing and sales. So, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm divided with what my focus is. It's just, I'm a business owner. I'm a brand. I love wearing jewelry.
And Michelle always looks posh and glam.
Thank
no
you.
matter what's going on, I think I always leave. Whenever I have a meeting with Michelle, wherever it is, there's always something glam, something posh. Doesn't even matter.
That's great.
What's happening or what's going
good.
on.
I think that's good branding.
It's fabulous.
I think that's good branding, and that's what I feel about you too. And I think I have to say that I learned from you to embrace the fact that I had many businesses to offer and many skill sets to offer, because you have always been very confident and very poised and very positioned well when you've shared that with people. So I have to thank you for that.
Thank you.
I really do.
You're welcome.
I really do.
I want to thank you for encouraging me you're always encouraging me to be the best that I can be, and to also think beyond my own thoughts.
Absolutely.
So whatever the naysayers are saying, whatever I'm saying, I could be a naysayer to myself. I'm sure we've all done that.
I think we are the worst naysayers. I was just giving, I totally forgot about that, because I think that to ourselves, we are the worst naysayers. If you listen to the thoughts that are in your head, if you truly pay attention to where your frame of mind can be, especially on certain topics. We have touchy subjects. The three main topics that people have issues with are sex, money, and body, well-being. So, just pick any of those three major topics, and it's likely that, it's a sore point with you. Well, who's the person that's going to beat themselves up the most? It's you.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful with that.
Most definitely. And who's the one constant in your life? It's you.
That's right.
I mean, I remember reading, information about, thank you. I mean, relationships and stuff. And I remember, I don't know if I got it from a book or from an article or from watching TV, but one person said, if you look at all your relationships, and there are going to be people, and it's true, you could have the best hopes and whatever, but maybe someone else in your life, maybe you weren't treated right. Different things happen. Or maybe you didn't treat someone else right. But when you look at all of your relationships, and it could be your relationship with your career, with people, with family,
certainly.
Who's the one constant in that situation? It's you. Yep. It's you.
Yep.
And
I love that you say this, because we were talking about something very specific earlier. We were talking about sort of contracts and working with people and situations that we find ourselves in. Yes. And, I'm not going to talk specifically, obviously, but, I know that I am the common denominator. And I believe that either in my case, because I do believe in God, I believe it's either a lesson from God somehow, whether it's a lesson in trust, whether it's a lesson in, the need to become more self-sufficient. I recently wrote a poem on that, and it's pretty deep. Maybe I'll share it at the end of our conversation today. But it does talk about self-sufficiency and independence, and wanting to sort of break beyond other people having control over you. And you know what? I am the common denominator. I completely stand in responsibility for the situations that I find myself in. And I think that's where the power begins, is when you can come from a state of responsibility and acknowledgement that you are responsible right now. You are the common denominator. So thank you for this lesson, because it's resonating with me right now. That's for sure.
You're welcome, and thank you. And we're going to talk a little bit more after this episode. This episode clip, we're going to have another one about faking it until you make it. Is that the best way to sell yourself to yourself and others, to the universe too? Because the universe is watching your energy. Absolutely. And the universe, God, does want you to be in that right frame of mind. Is faking it till you make it a good way to do it, or is that sabotaging you? We're going to talk about that, how you can bring your big goals and big dreams to fruition, cause and effect. See you soon. Stay tuned.
Thank you.